And let's begin with the latest update coming in on the attack on ED officials in Bengal's North 24 Parganas. Details emerging of the injuries sustained by ED officials. 3 of them, Rajkumar Ram, Somnath, Dutt and Ankur Gupta, while discharging their duty, were targeted by a mob, an angry mob of 100 to 200 villagers who stopped ED officials from going close to TMC leader Shah Jahan's residence. He's reportedly a heavyweight of that area, and therefore these villagers refused to allow the ED to step foot in his residence. We're being told that these 3 injured ED officials were rushed to a hospital. One of them has also suffered injuries with stitches, about 7 stitches to his head. Suryagni Roy is joining us live this evening with more details. Suryagni is reporting from North 24 Parganas, where this incident took place. 3 ED officers injured as a result of a complete breakdown of law and order where you are, Suryagni. What's the current situation there?
Well, Akshita, we are exactly at a spot which is some 1 or 2 kilometers just away from the place where the incident had happened today morning. Yes, 3 ED officers gravely injured. They are still in the hospital in Kolkata. They are being treated. One has 7 stitches, the other one has 4. The governor, that is C.V. Anand Bose, he is likely to visit them in a while from now. The situation, if I speak about right now, over here at this particular area and the neighboring areas in the spot where this incident happened, thankfully it's calm. It's not what like it was in the morning, but you don't really know how the situation can unfold in this given scenario. If again another team of ED with CRPF or Central Forces, they decide that they want to raid that place once again, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. It's still unknown whether this kind of an incident will be repeated or not. We spoke to the police SP over here at this particular place of SP Bashirhat. He clearly mentioned that the ED had informed him through an email at 8:20ish and sending force that will join the ED team. It takes time geographically. That's what he said.
Suryagni,
however,
he was intimated ahead, and that's why ED sources have told us on India Today that they believe this attack was orchestrated so that Shah Jahan could get rid of crucial evidence in the ration scam, which is where he was being questioned and interrogated by the Enforcement Directorate. Suryagni, stay on with me. We'll come across to you for more details. But I want to now round up for you all the updates on this story. It was early this morning that we broke first on India Today about the ED officials being targeted, being assaulted. Their car was vandalized by an angry mob of about 100 to 200 villagers. We hear all in a bid to stop the ED officials from going close to TMC leader Shah Jahan's residence. It's obviously sparked a political fight. The BJP, even Allied Congress, has lashed out at the Trinamool Congress. But interestingly, even the governor has stepped in here seeking a report and summoning the state secretary. But amid all of this, the Trinamool Congress is defiant. Their excuse, and the reason they say this kind of an attack took place, is because the central government provoked, instigated the villagers.
Unprecedented and unwarranted. These were the scenes in Sandesh Khali village in North 24 Parganas in West Bengal on Friday. At the receiving end of the attack was a team of Enforcement Directorate officials from Kolkata. The team, led by Bengal ED Additional Director Ravindra Dahiya, was gheraud by an angry mob of 200 people. The attack took place when the officials were about to raid the residence of TMC leader Shah Jahan, allegedly involved in a ration scam. Soon, a political face-off ensued between the BJP and the TMC, with Bengal's ruling party accusing the Narendra Modi government of provoking the attack.
उस राज्य का जो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर है पूरी तरह से कोलैप्स हो चुका है। ऐसा घटना का हम तीव्र निंदा करते हैं।
They provoked the local people badly. That's why there was a counter reaction spontaneously. The real fact is the people of India, they are totally frustrated. Seeing this deep-rooted conspiracy engineered and monitored by Delhi on daily basis, and that too in case of Trinamool Congress so far in our state of West Bengal is concerned.
I reserve all my constitutional options.
Governor C.V. Ananda Bose warned the Mamata Banerjee government of consequences.
It is the bounden duty of a civilized government to stop barbarism and vandalism in a democracy. If government fails in its basic duty, then the Constitution of India will definitely take its course.
State BJP wrote to the Union Home Ministry seeking an NIA probe on the incident and blamed Rohingya refugees for the attack on the ED team.
बंगाल में रोहिंग्या मुस्लिम जो है उनको घुस के बंगाल की पूरी लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को क्या कर चुके हैं, और ये जो ईडी के साथ हो रहा है ये सिर्फ ईडी के साथ नहीं हो रहा है, ये अपना बंगाल का बंगालियों का फ्यूचर दिखा रहा है। बंगालियों के साथ भी ऐसे आगे आने वाले समय में होने वाला है।
The Congress, an ally of the TMC at the national level, claimed that law and order had completely collapsed in Bengal.
इसमें ये जगजाहिर होते हैं कि बंगाल में कानून और व्यवस्था की हाल कितना बुरा होते जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि बंगाल में ये सारे आदी हैं। आज जख्मी हुए हैं, कल ईडी वाले अगर खत्म हो जाए, खून हो जाए, तो हमें मुझ जैसे लोगों के लिए ये अचरज की बात नहीं होगी।
With Surya Agni Roy in North 24 Parganas, Bureau Report, India Today.
And I'd like to bring in on this broadcast former Union Minister currently with the Bharatiya Janata Party, Mr. Dinesh Trivedi, who joins us live here on 6 p.m. Prime. Mr. Trivedi, thank you for speaking to us here on India Today. What's played out in Bengal, sir, is very, very concerning, extremely worrying. You've seen adverse reactions coming in from both sides. The Trinamool Congress says that this is because the mob was instigated and that's why they went ahead and targeted ED officials. But do you believe that the onus is solely right now the Mamata government, and it speaks volumes really of the worrying situation in Bengal?
I think it's a very sad day today, and every honest citizen needs to condemn this, not only across party line, but I think the sensible people in TMC also needs to understand and condemn this. I will go back to a couple of years back when I was in TMC, I was a member of parliament, when Naddaji's car was attacked. And I had condemned it. Violence has just no place in democracy. And what has had today, I must compliment the senior officers and the director of ED and the central forces that they prefer to take the blood on their hand in terms of the attack rather than retaliate with the guns, which they could have easily done, and there would have been an ugly ugly scene, because ultimately who would have been dead? The citizens. So I must compliment and my hat's off. Coming back to your question, I think the law and order has actually collapsed. And if you remember, when I resigned as a member of parliament in Rajya Sabha of TMC, I mentioned the same thing, that the rule of law is not there. There is a lot of violence and there is a lot of corruption. Both are hand in hand. So this person, whoever was being raided, he has come out, he must have by now destroyed all the evidences. So he has achieved his objective. And I think it's a very sad day for democracy and very, very sad day for the common people in Bengal.
I'd like to also hear your view, sir, of what the TMC's defense has been in the face of this. You're right when you said that, you outrightly condemned an attack that took place on Mr. Nadda's convoy. Unfortunately, today, there's been no such condemnation that's come in from the Trinamool Congress. Instead, they've said that the people were instigated by the fact that the central government is only targeting opposition leaders, is only targeting TMC leaders in Bengal. What's your response to that? Do you believe that, there is some backing to that claim? Because many opposition parties have said that it's only us, we're the only ones targeted by these agencies.
I think this is a case where the Honorable Chief Minister, who should come out and condemn the whole incidents. There is just no place, like I said, of violence in a democracy. And ED is just doing its work. ED doesn't belong to any party. It doesn't listen to any kind of party politics. Unfortunately, what has happened in Bengal, although our IPS officers in Bengal, they are professional people and one of the best trained officers, but the entire police and bureaucracy has been totally politicized. I don't think so they are in a position to really do the part of their duty. So I personally feel that it is time. The report, I'm sure, would be sent by the Honorable Governor, and the Home Minister must react and must take action, because there is just no point letting the common citizens at the mercy of the goons. Today, if the media is not safe, then please believe me, nobody is safe in Bengal, and that's a sad situation. So I think TMC members will do well to come out and condemn this incident, which I did when I was even the TMC member.
Are you suggesting, sir, that then the only solution is to impose president's rule in Bengal? Is that what you're hinting at when you say action must be taken to secure people's rights in Bengal?
I think you ask any Bengali today on the street, everybody would say the same thing, that law and order has collapsed, and the common person is totally frustrated with this violence which continues from the time of CPM. When we came to power, when I was in TMC, all the citizens changed the government because they wanted law, they wanted rule of law, they wanted education, they wanted health, they wanted the progress of Bengal, which unfortunately has not happened. The situation is somewhere worse than that. So I think let's leave it to the citizens of Bengal. You ask anybody and they'll say, yes, law and order has totally collapsed. Let us wait for the report of the Honorable Governor. I'm sure he is going to give. And I don't think so the Home Ministry should feel shy to do whatever action it needs to be taken. And it's not going to be political action. It's going to be action to protect the life and property of common citizens, which we take the oath when we come to being a member of parliament or a minister. So it's not only the duty of the central government, I think they are obligated to take stern action as per the Constitution of India.
My final question to you, Mr. Dinesh Trivedi, is you've highlighted how law and order in Bengal has deteriorated over the last few years. And we've seen that in the form of pre-poll, post-poll violence. We've seen that in the form of these kind of incidents of ED officials being targeted so brazenly with no fear of the law, repercussions whatsoever. When you were in the Trinamool Congress, did you sense that law and order was kind of being ignored? Did you ever raise it in the party? What kind of a response did you get, sir, if yes?
Well, the very fact that I resigned when I had about 5.5 years left in the Rajya Sabha, nobody has ever done, and I don't think so anybody will do in future either. Why did I do? Because as a member of parliament of TMC, I couldn't protect the normal citizen, and unfortunately things have gone worse from those days. And I genuinely request my colleagues earlier in TMC to really come out and condemn. After all, why are we in politics? We are in politics for public good. Governments will come and governments will go. We will come and we'll go. Common citizens' life needs to be protected, and whatever we need to do in public life has to be for the good of the people, irrespective of party politics.
All right, that's a much needed message. There's no doubt about that. So thank you, Mr. Dinesh Trivedi, for joining us here on India Today and sharing your views, your perspective on what's really played out in the state of Bengal. Unfortunate scenes, really, of violence, unfortunate scenes of ED officials being thrashed, being beaten black and blue by this mob. Let's move on now, shift focus to another big story, and this one too is largely focused on Bengal. I'm talking about the big fight between the India allies. And while we've been seeing this playing out in multiple states, right now everyone's talking about what's happening in Bengal, where it's the Trinamool Congress versus the Congress supposedly allies, part of the India bloc. You had first Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary lashing out at Mamta Banerjee because reportedly Mamta was offering just 2 seats to the Congress. The TMC is now hit back at Adhir, saying that these kind of comments are unwarranted and highlighting the Congress's track record as far as poll performances in Bengal are concerned. Let's round up first for you all the reactions coming in on the story.
The biggest battle of 2024 is just months away, and the cracks in India bloc are only widening. In West Bengal, the rift between the Congress and TMC is out in the open. The Congress has branded Mamta Banerjee as Narendra Modi's agent. And in response, the TMC has called the Congress a non-starter in Bengal.
हम लोग ये प्रूव कर दिया दीदी के नेतृत्व में अभिषेक जी जनरल सेक्रेटरी तो पूरा यूनाइटेड टीएमसी कैन बीट भाजपा ये तो एस्टेब्लिश्ड हो गया उस टाइम कांग्रेस किधर थे वो तो वोट डिवीजन करके भाजपा को हेल्प कर रहे थे
हमारे जो सत्तारूढ़ पार्टी है बंगाल की वो कभी इस तरह की गठबंधन नहीं करने वाली है क्योंकि इस तरह की गठबंधन अगर होगी तो सबसे ज्यादा दिक्कत होगी मोदी जी को तीसरे गठबंधन में हर वक्त हर चर्चा में वो रोड़ा डालने की हर संभव कोशिश करते रहेगी
The BJP is milking the political face-off between India bloc allies over seat sharing.
लोकसभा का चुनाव अलग है लेकिन असेंबली चुनाव अलग है इसलिए अधीर रंजन जो बोला दो तो है ही है तो जुट क्यों करूं तो इसलिए बोल सकते उनका मांग का हक है जनता उनका खिलाफ है वो एकजुट होने के बाद कोई फायदा नहीं है
Seat sharing isn't the only issue troubling the India bloc partners. The post of national convener is turning out to be a bone of contention. JDU leaders have hit out at other opposition parties for floating the name of Nitish Kumar as the convener of India bloc.
एक राजनीतिक साजिश चल रही है नीतीश जी के साथ कि उनको बार बार ये कहा जा रहा है कि कब प्रधानमंत्री होंगे कब कन्वीनर होंगे उनको बना दिया जिसमें हमारी इच्छा ही नहीं है जिसकी हम परीक्षा ही नहीं दे रहे हैं तो उसके रिजल्ट के लिए आप हमसे प्रश्न क्यों पूछते हैं
संयोजक का पद का सृजन किसने किया और ये बार बार बोलना कि संयोजक बनाया जाएगा कोई एप्लीकेशन दिए है क्या वो कोई वैकेंसी क्रिएट हुआ है क्या इस तरीके का आचरण राजनीति में सही नहीं है
Opposition parties are likely to meet on Sunday, where the two burning issues are likely to figure. Sources say the Congress has prepared a list of seats it wants to contest, but its allies are looking to drive hard bargain. Bureau Report, India Today.
So several states really where the India bloc is facing issues with regards to seat sharing. Told you about what's happening in Bengal. Then there's Maharashtra, there's Punjab, there's Uttar Pradesh, where they're yet to kind of get their berries together and figure out what's happening. So I'm going to take it state by state, reporter by reporter, to explain to you what's happening in each situation, in each circumstance. Let's start with Bengal, which is what everyone's talking about right now. So I want to begin with Suryagni Roy for those updates. Suryagni, with the TMC now hitting out also directly at Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, does it look like things aren't heading in the right direction? Does it look like otherwise they could reach some middle ground? Because we're hearing that the High Command has sent out a message to Adhir to stop these personal attacks at Mamta.
Well, Akshita, you know, like if you just look at what has been happening between the Trinamool Congress and the Congress over here in Bengal, the Bengal unit of the Congress over here, it is clear that these two political parties are at loggerheads, and they have been fighting against each other politically for a long time right now, since 2016 elections. So amidst all of this, when the seat sharing issues cropped up and there were reports that Mamta Banerjee is comfortable with giving the Congress 2 seats, the 2 seats that they have won. Let's not forget that the Congress has won only 2 seats in 2019. So we asked them, we saw what Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary said, that he doesn't want, any kind of, a bheek from Mamta on this particular issue. Yeah. Now, the Trinamool Congress is of the opinion that there might be some, or rather there has to be a parameter on which seats should be, distributed. They say that in 2021, Trinamool Congress went solo and they won more than 200 seats, whereas Congress, in an alliance with the left and Indian Secular Front, they won 0 seats. So in what capacity does Congress, ask for 6 to 8 seats is something that Trinamool Congress is, really asking and questioning. However, it's still not clear that how many seats in this particular alliance will be shared between the Congress and the Trinamool Congress, or rather, the biggest question is, will there will any seat sharing be done over here in Bengal or not between the Congress and the Trinamool Congress is the question of the hour.
It looks like it could take some more time really to figure out, but I also want to focus now on what's happening in Uttar Pradesh. We had a news break coming in this morning about the Congress putting forth their demand to the Samajwadi Party, which is that they want to fight 25 seats. And they're citing the 2009 performance to say, look, you give us 25 seats, we'll ensure we deliver. Abhishek Mishra, does it look like that will actually happen? 2009 to 2024, long time since then, things have changed drastically as far as the political picture in Uttar Pradesh is concerned.
Well, absolutely, Akshita. There has been a lot of changes in the political scenario of the state as well. 2009, comparing it with 2024 elections, is not something which justifies that number. Although the state local unit here of the Congress party is seeking at least 25 to 23 seats as part of the number for the India Alliance. But Akhilesh Yadav, it looks like will be a tough nut to crack because he won't be ready for that number. The reason being is that the vote share, also the performance of the Congress party in the last couple of elections, specifically the last election, only 1 seat, that too for the Sonia Gandhi in Raebareli. Before that, 2014, only 2 seats, one Amethi, Rahul Gandhi, and again Sonia Gandhi from Raebareli. So the number of share of the seat will certainly be depending on their vote share, 1, 2, their previous performances, and 3, the circumstances in that particular constituency or that seat. So that is something which needs to be sorted out. Akhilesh so far has not spoken yet, but it's going to be a tough situation.
We've already seen differences cropping up between the Congress and the Samajwadi Party, especially what happened in Madhya Pradesh. So is that something that Akhilesh will kind of use and harbour to change and ensure that the Congress doesn't get what they want? This is also largely an ego battle for the Congress. They want to prove that they can fight it out on a substantial number of seats in every single state. And in Maharashtra, that's exactly the battle that's happening. You'd think that in a state like Maharashtra, things would be technically easier because you already had an alliance of the Mahavikas Aghadi. But we've seen non-stop bickering between the Congress and the UBT Sena, with again a public feud like what we've been seeing in Bengal. Mustafa, have things been ironed out? We know that there's been a lot of backroom talks happening between Uddhav Sena and also between the Congress leadership in Maharashtra and the High Command also being directly involved.
Well, yes, Akshata, and the problem in Maharashtra for India Alliance is quite unique because in many states, Congress has to deal with one other regional party in terms of seat sharing. But in Maharashtra, they have to deal with NCP Sharad Pawar faction and the faction of the Shiv Sena. So there are seats which have to be divided in 3 parties. The Congress conducted its Foundation Day ceremony here in Maharashtra, in Nagpur. So they are aiming big in Maharashtra. They had just won one Lok Sabha seat in 2019. So clearly you can say that both the parties, the NCP and Shiv Sena, the Congress will have to convince them very hard to give them substantial amount of seats. There are 48 seats, Lok Sabha seats in Maharashtra, the second highest after Uttar Pradesh. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Mustafa, for joining us with all of those details. We'll see, of course, maybe in a week from now, we'll have clarity on whether the Congress is able to get what they want in many of these states and what kind of middle ground is reached. But what's clear is that while you're seeing all of this bickering taking place, a lot of grandstanding by these political parties, at the end of the day, each of these parties have also made it clear that they want to make this alliance work, particularly the Congress, with the High Command, Mallikarjun Kharge, making it very clear to the likes of Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary and all the other leaders who've been resorting to this kind of back and forth publicly, he's told them to refrain from doing that, saying these are our allies, we need to keep them happy. So it'll be interesting to see how really things play out in a week or so. Remember that there was a deadline that was issued of December 31st to figure out the seat sharing deal, but it looks like they've clearly overshot that deadline. It's taking a lot more time because it's also a lot harder for the Congress to figure out what exactly the seat sharing deal could look like in different parts of the country. Let's cut across to breaking news that's coming in. And this is a big update coming in from the Indian Navy. They've confirmed that they've managed to reach the ship that was in fact taken over by Somalian pirates. And INS Chennai, which is the Indian naval ship, has reached the hijacked vessel, which was MV Leela Norfolk off Somalia coast. The warship has launched its helicopter and issued a warning to pirates to abandon the hijacked vessel. Indian crew on board are safe. The Marine commandos are ready for operations. So we understand that our officials now have in fact kicked off their operations to secure the Indian crew. They were in touch with them actively. Remember that this is a ship, a vessel that was hijacked off the Somalian coast. We've seen many such instances taking place, but in one successful operation that we're reporting on right now, the Indian Navy deployed almost immediately INS Chennai. Elite Marine commandos from the warship have now embarked on the hijacked vessel and are going to carry out sanitization operations as well. What we can confirm also for you is that the Indian crew, the Indian nationals who were on board this particular vessel, are all very much safe, and it's only a matter of time before we also get official communication from the Navy on their condition. But this is a successful operation that's been conducted in a matter of hours by the Navy.